I'm seeing a signal on the Ethereum chart we need to discuss urgently, because this is going to be a zone where we do want to be accumulating before the major move higher. I've exactly seen this Ethereum trap before, and that is why I will be accumulating in exactly this zone. I'm opening up an Ethereum trade here, and in this update video I'm going to exactly explain how and why I'm opening up this Ethereum trade. I will explain why I do think we are seeing a major bottom signal, and I'm going to show you an insane Ethereum signal which is currently flashing, which is exactly corresponding with my trade. So let's talk about that. We will discuss a lot more Ethereum chart, and I will also give an update and my outlook on altcoin season in this dedicated Ethereum and altcoins video. So nothing about Bitcoin this video, only Ethereum and altcoins. So if you like that, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content. And we can see something quite insane happening on the Ethereum chart here. On the daily we can see the funding rates flipping negative for Ethereum here, and that is something I also discussed in my update videos. But what I'm also seeing is that now there's somewhat of a double confirmation coming up that this is going to be a huge Ethereum bottom. Because first of all, once the funding rates turn negative for Ethereum, we do tend to see that that corresponds with these bottoming phases in the market for Ethereum. Definitely in this Ethereum push higher, but also earlier during this bull market and here during the bear market, for example. But what I'm seeing now on the Ethereum chart, if I take a look into the long liquidations, is that once the funding rates turn negative and we see a big long liquidation flush, normally that does confirm the bottom in the market for Ethereum. And we've not only seen somewhat of a long liquidation flush, we've just seen the biggest flush since 2023 here, and that was basically the bottom of this bear market phase. So that is why I do think this signal is looking quite insane. Not only the funding rates, but also this long liquidation wick, and I do think this could have been somewhat of a healthy reset for the market, and now Ethereum could be moving higher. But we also have to discuss the worst case scenario for Ethereum. If we are going to dump lower, if this is not going to be a bottom in the market, what's going to be next for Ethereum then? I will now show you my exact game plan also with this trade here, and then we have to look into this Ethereum zone I'm currently watching. I'm watching the zone between the 50 daily moving average here, the blue line, and the 100 daily moving average, which is the orange line. The last time Ethereum broke below the 50 daily moving average was in this consolidation phase back in June. We broke below it and we grabbed the liquidity all the way down at the 100 daily moving average, which was about a 15% move lower. If that is going to happen once again, if history is going to repeat, I will be adding to my Ethereum trade on these levels, and therefore I, for example, set some limit orders, but I have also been starting to open my Ethereum trade now with a position of about 11 to 12k here. If you're going to move lower, I will be adding to this trade on LBANK here, because I do think that is ultimately going to be the worst case scenario before eventually pushing higher here. So that is my exact game plan, and if you do want to join me on LBANK, make sure to check out the link in the description under this video, because there you can claim a 50% deposit bonus on LBANK just by clicking on this link. Then you will get redirected to exactly this page where first of all you can sign up and then claim your 50% deposit bonus. You can deposit a maximum of 5k, you can deposit more, but the deposit bonus will only be eligible for a maximum amount up to 5k, so a maximum deposit bonus of 2.5k, but that is quite something nice once you're opening this Ethereum position here. So yeah, simply said, this is going to be my buying zone for Ethereum. I don't think we will be dropping lower than the worst case scenario. If so, if Ethereum is truly going to drop below the 100 daily moving average, my trade might get invalidated, but if that would be happening, then I will make a big update on it. Also, if we zoom out a little bit on Ethereum, we can just see how bullish the chart is actually looking, because Ethereum is simply consolidating just below the all-time high and just below the previous cycle high here. And in my opinion, a consolidation like that in a range is going to be highly bullish. So That's why I am still quite bullish on Ethereum. Another important bottoming signal, which is going to align with also this chart, is the RSI on the 4 hourly for Ethereum, because the RSI on the 4 hourly also saw one of the most oversold levels in this move higher, and that has always been the bottom of these somewhat consolidation phases for Ethereum. So I would not be surprised if this is going to be a huge liquidity grab once again, and Ethereum is going to break back in this range and then eventually shoot higher. I do think there is a high likelihood that we are going to see something like that, because the Ethereum chart is actually looking quite amazing. We are now finding support at exactly major previous resistance level. We have flipped this resistance, this massive resistance, into support, and now I'm expecting an Ethereum bounce higher from here eventually, and that is not going to be just a bounce of a few percent. No, I do think that is going to be that next Ethereum wave, which is going to push us far above the all-time highs, and that is also the phase where I will be taking profits on my Ethereum trade here. So yes, I do think Ethereum is still looking absolutely amazing. Like stated, we saw a major long liquidation flush here. So in my opinion, a healthy reset for the markets. And that is in detail what I'm currently thinking about Ethereum. And make sure to join me on LBANK with that 50% deposit bonus if you're getting interested in opening a trade also. But on LBANK you can also trade a lot of other different altcoins. So let's also talk about some altcoin charts. The altcoin season index is now indicating that we are back in an altcoin season, but on the yearly perspective, we are not even close yet. So this is still going to be an amazing moment just before Q4 to accumulate altcoins or long altcoins, make new altcoin positions basically. Just before Q4, which is normally one of the most bullish quarters for altcoins. There's still a lot of potential left. I've been talking about this chart also in my daily update videos, but just look at the potential. Others versus ETH, so the smallest altcoins, others divided by Ethereum, have been dropping to some of the most oversold levels since 2021, and once we saw it happening in 2021, about a 150% bounce followed here. And now we've only seen a 17% bounce so far from even more oversold levels than what we saw in 2021. So simply still a lot of potential left, and that is why I'm saying that this could still be a great moment to be accumulating altcoins. Also because if I look at the seasonality, I can see the Bitcoin dominance starting to move a little bit higher now, and that is something we've seen before in the September months, and probably that is going to be one of your last months and last opportunities to be accumulating altcoins before the Bitcoin dominance is going to see that next major drop to the downside. Not like that, but definitely towards the range lows for the Bitcoin dominance. And I do definitely think that in that move to the downside, the biggest and most amounts of money are going to get made with altcoins. That is going to be the phase where you do want to be in the market. We've started to see the first signals of phase 3 for large caps playing out here. So we've seen BNB pumping, we have seen Solana pumping, money was rotating to large caps, and I do think that was the start of phase 3, and phase 4, that true altcoin season, is going to hit much faster than most people currently think now. So keep that in mind, and a great chart to exactly see when that phase is going to start is probably going to be the total 3 chart here with this major cup and handle pattern. These are all the altcoins besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, and once this is going to break out to new all-time highs, I do think that is going to be the moment where altcoins are about to explode. And if you're looking for setups to trade these altcoins, make sure to also join our VIP Telegram channel. Here, me personally, but also Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders are sharing daily setups, our altcoin setups, our view on the market. You can join this group with the link in the description under this video here to the VIP Telegram group, and there you can start trading altcoins yourself in this ending stage of the cycle. So make sure to join now before Q4 is going to start and before the true price action is going to hit the market. So guys, that was it for today's update video. A little bit of a more Ethereum and altcoin dedicated update video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next update video or live stream later.